Miss Wade is in the house. I see you. I see you sneaking up on me. Meditating, like silence. I don't want naggy Antoine in my ear telling me what I should be doing. Guys, come on in. Happy Thursday. And I gotta say something. I am so happy to be here this Thursday. And I'm trying to check out something on their system resources because there's something going on with my system resources. It seems like my resources continue to go up. And I gotta probably make some changes within the stream itself to stop that from happening, and therefore there won't be lags and stuff like that. But it's been a fantastic week. It's been a good Thursday, a busy week at that, very busy week, and I am so happy for the long weekend ahead for us in the United States. We get an opportunity to celebrate Independence Day, and therefore it's going to make for a long weekend. I'm going to take off the second half of tomorrow so that I make it even a longer weekend. So exciting news about that. Very exciting news about that. The family and I are just going to chill out this weekend. Of course, we're going to hit the boat. We're going to be on a boat. We're also going to be able to hang out with some friends and do a cookout. I'm going to be cooking a pork butt as well as smoked bologna, guys. Smoked bologna, something that you guys probably never ever had. But I'm going to tell you like this, it is absolutely fantastic. It's going to be a fantastic meal on Sunday because I'm going to be doing a pork butt and smoked bologna. And I'm telling you, man, it's fantastic. Many of you don't even know what smoked bologna is. You should Google it. Certainly Google it. It makes some of the best sandwiches ever. Barbecue, if you like that sort of a thing. And it's beef bologna, by the way, beef bologna. So that's what my plans are for this upcoming weekend. I hope you guys have some good plans with your family. Enjoy yourselves, take care of yourselves, stay away from the hooligan garbage that's going on out there, and you know there's going to be something that happens. Stay away from all that extra stuff. Spend some time with your loved ones in your inner circles and so forth, right? So that you can stay safe and stay healthy. I was in the office this week. One day. And of course, I got a notification that somebody in the office had COVID. So I'm wondering, guys, is the office ever going to get back to its natural state? Well, there's some companies that are going to make remote work forever. There's some companies that's going to make remote work forever. There are some companies that are telling you to get back to the office. And some companies are telling you to get back to the office even though they're laying people off. So I'm thinking that we're going to have a combination of both, right? There's a consistent new flare of the virus that continues to come up, that continues to impact people. As you get to the office, you potentially may be impacted by somebody else, right? The good thing for me is while I was in the office, I didn't associate myself with the other folks over there. I had a meeting with one client. I stayed in a room the entire time. Saw some people that I wanted to talk to inside the office, but I did not get a chance to go and speak to them because I had to get out of there for another meeting. So hopefully, all is good with me over the next couple of days and so forth. Then I don't have to worry about it. But that's the sort of stuff that you got to worry about when you get back to the office, guys. You have to worry about other people impacting you in your health and so forth. And some companies are really trying to stop that from happening. Today's show is not going to be on that. I'm going to be talking about a couple things today. Tech's hottest new job. What is Tech's hottest new job? Well, you're going to find out in this show today. We're also going to be talking about 14 of the highest paying programming languages. 14 of the highest paying programming languages that you should consider if you are a programmer or you are a student in college or you're looking to go the programming route. 14 of them that's going to pay you $155,000 or more. We're also going to talk about Salesforce, what they pay their people. Working for a top company like Salesforce, one thing you haven't heard about Salesforce, guys, you haven't heard they're making cuts. You haven't heard they're making layoffs and stuff like that. You haven't heard that from Salesforce. Some companies are going to continue to increase their hiring during this economic downturn. Some companies are going to because they are profitable. They can hang on. They don't have to cut people. They don't have to wait for the next round of funding when all this money dries up because of the inflation. You got to think about it, guys. Inflation is going to impact the majority of people who aren't making a lot of money because the cost of goods are going to continue to go up. So, of course, the people who aren't making a lot of money, they're going to be impacted the most. They are going to be impacted the most. But it's also going to impact the people who own companies or corporations who are just looking for funding and they aren't profitable yet. Well, if you have $160 million in funding and you aren't a profitable company and you spend that, you may not get your next round of funding to continue to keep your people. You may not get your next round of funding. That's why it's so important, guys. That's why it's very important to monitor who you are working for, to choose and be selective who you are working for. When your company announces earnings or you are looking to go towards a company, do your research. Do your research. The profitable companies are going to stick around during this economic downturn. There's going to be companies that go like this, boom, and they're going to tank. They're going to tank. And you may be one of the people who bought into it being a great company and so forth. You may be one of the people that bought into it being a great company and so forth and how it's going to improve your resume and make you look good and all this other stuff. But you may end up without a job. We're also going to talk about side hustles as well, too. That's going to be the last one we're going to talk about. I'm going to be doing a lot of jumping around in this show today because I'm all over the place, and that's just who I'm going to bring you guys today. I'm all over the place. But in either case, I'm going to bring you a good show. Guys, I want to say something. We are having a lot of success. We are having a lot of success in the Black Heights community. People getting jobs still in this economic downturn. People getting promotions still in this economic downturn. People moving on to newer companies, people getting increases, making more money and so forth. And they're doing this all in the Black Heights community. You should consider to join the Patreon to be a part of the Black Heights community. Matter of fact, this week, what I've done for my premium, my professional members, I've given them access because I've partnered with Google. I've given them access to Google professional certificates. I've given them access to that. I bring value to my Patreon members through coaching, through introducing them to other individuals, motivation, as well as partnerships that allow for them to get access to things that they wouldn't have access to. That's how we run the Patreon. We are a strong community. Consider to join it. So I want to start off the conversation like this. It's probably going to be, matter of fact, I'm going to start it off like this. Yelp. We're going to talk about Yelp first because at the end of the day, I started off the conversation about companies choosing to either bring their people back to the office or letting them work remote forever. That's it. And Yelp is a company, and their CEO says the company will go fully remote, closing offices in New York, DC, and Chicago. They say, okay, well, we close these offices. If we close these offices in these expensive cities, we can maintain our employees. If our employees aren't traveling as much, we can maintain our employees. If we're continuing to be profitable, we can keep the same employees that we need to, even in the time of an economic recession that we're in. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick because Yelp CEO says the company will go fully remote, closing offices in DC, New York, Chicago, and it's best for our employees and for our business, Yelp says. So you got a CEO that believes in the working from remote. He believes in it. He believes that people who work remote, it's good for them. It's very good for them. He's different than other CEOs, especially the one who runs Tesla, right? So Yelp CEO, co-founder, Jeremy Stoppelman, wrote in Yelp's blog post that the company is going fully remote. Over time, we came to realize that the future of work at Yelp is remote. It's best for our employees and for our business. I love this message because obviously when employees or companies, or put it like this, let me repeat that. Obviously when employers, companies make decisions based on their workforce, it sounds like he's making this decision based on the feedback from his workforce. It's best for our employees and for our business. If it's best for your employees, then it's best for your business. And I love the fact that he actually said that. This is the type of company that you want to consider to work for because of the person who's in charge. He's in tune with what's best for the actual people. So consider to work for Yelp if they have positions that are open. But Stoppelman said the pandemic showed the company that it could effectively operate remotely and that its employees could thrive and be just as, if not more, productive while remote. Employees are more satisfied working remotely as they can spend precious time that they would not have otherwise spent commuting. Let me repeat that again. Employees are more satisfied working remotely as they can spend more precious time they would have otherwise spent commuting, doing the things they love with the people who mean the most to them. I agree with that. I agree with that. If you can cut off an hour each way out of your commute to the office, that's 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day is, you can spend an hour to get a workout in. You can spend another hour spending time with your wife or your kids. That's meaningful. That's impactful. An hour a day or 2 hours a day is a good amount of time. That's a good amount of time. And you spend an hour a day working out every single day of the week, you're going to make significant gains. So if you get rid of commuting in your car 2 hours a day and are able to spend that time with your family, your wife, your spouse, your kids, working out, taking care of yourself, your health, it's better for you. It's better for you. So in a survey of employees, Yelp found that 86% of respondents prefer to work remotely most or all the time. The survey also found that 87% of respondents say remote work made them more effective at work, and 93% of employees and managers said they could meet their goals with remote work. All right? So you got companies out there, guys, that fully believe into remote work, and Yelp is one of them. And this is a company, as I mentioned, that you want to consider to work for. Why do I say that? Why do I say Yelp is a company that you want to consider to work for? Well, because you heard the message from the CEO. He's in tune with the business. There were employees said that they work best from home, so he listened. took a survey and so forth. He listened. He's not one of those CEOs that says, you're going to do it my way or else. Or else. All right? This is the type of company you want to work for. This is the type of a person that you want to work for in your tech career. All right, I wanted to make sure I hit that one. And that one wasn't on the agenda for today, but I told you guys, I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to be all over the place. Okay, we're going to talk about one more. We're going to talk about one more that wasn't on the agenda, but I want to hit it anyway. I want to hit it anyway. And this is from my man. This is from my man who's working at a company, big time company. This company's in Austin. I became a big fan of this company. Because it's owned by Elon Musk, and he's had a good track record. He's had a good track record over the last couple years, through 2, 3, 4. Matter of fact, he's had a good track record in the business world for a very long time, selling companies and so forth and building companies and being a change agent in the entire world, in the tech space specifically. Okay, personal life, I don't mind to get into any of that stuff, but as an influencer in the tech industry, Elon Musk is probably the best at it. And not only that, he's probably the world's richest man. So he builds Tesla. You heard Tesla, what they're going through at this point in time. Tesla is laying off people. They are laying off people. But prior to the layoffs, if anybody could get into Tesla, they're hooping and hollering. They have their dream job. And that's what this gentleman had. He had his dream job. But guess what happened, guys? Guess what happened at the beginning of this month? I just got laid off from my dream job at Tesla without warning. I just got laid off from my dream job at Tesla without warning. That's what happened to him, guys. You put all your eggs in one basket. You think that these companies are going to take care of you. You think that these companies are going to take care of you. It's not the company. It's the people that's working for it and the people in those top positions. And I'm going to tell you like this. You can be loyal to individual people. But don't think that companies and the people in those companies will make decisions that will impact your life. And they will do it in a heartbeat, especially if you don't bring value, especially if you don't have visibility, especially if you don't have the skills. When times like this hits, inflation is up. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. War is going on. If you don't have a good set of skills and showing your value at any company, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you may be on the chopping block. Let's talk about this gentleman right here. He says, I feel like my life got uprooted so a billionaire could save some money. Ooh, woo. He feels like his life got uprooted so a billionaire can save some money. He's taking shots at Mr. Musk. I worked as a recruiter at Tesla for 2 months before being laid off on June 17th. That's just a month, guys. That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I'm not alone. The company is planning to lay off 10% of salaried employees. There was no warning. I wasn't on any performance plan, and I had received nothing but positive feedback during my short stint. Guys, I want you to consider something. If you're going to be making the switch to a company at this point in time, make sure that that company is doing well. Understand how they are going to handle this economic recession. Understand how employees have been treated in the past. Do your research, do your reviews. Understand how people feel right now. Understand how the company moves. Understand who the CEO is and how he makes decisions. If he's a big Twitter fingers or not. And he's a me guy. Understand that. Because at the end of the day, you could be impacted. 2 months in, you're not proving a lot of value. You haven't proven a lot of value at that company. So when it comes to getting rid of people, you're going to be in a chopping block. So do your research before you make a switch in a time like this. You can make a switch. I am all cool for you making switches. Matter of fact, I coach people to make switches to help them gain additional earnings or increase their salaries and so forth. Continue to climb the ladder. I coach people to do so, but I also coach them to do the research as well too. Don't just make a switch to make the switch. And don't do it blindly. Don't do it blindly, because you could be a person that makes a switch, have a good situation currently in place, and all of a sudden you make that switch. You're 2 months in, the company's laying off people. You're one of the first people that's impacted. Your life is uprooted. So this gentleman says there were no warning signs. He wasn't on any performance plan, and he had received nothing but positive feedback during a short stint. And for what? All for being there to continue to save a little bit more money so they can stay afloat while uprooting the lives of thousands of people. Tesla was his dream job, he said. I previously worked at Apple and Google and considered myself a tech nerd. Let me do something. It looks like I'm having some bit of... Let me do something real quick. I'm going to make sure my resources are right. So give me a second to make a quick pause on this. I'm going to pause so I get my resources right. Streaming is telling me that I got all kind of anti-malware going on, or stuff that's messing up my stream. Struggle streaming over here. Got all kind of red lights going on. All right, so we're going to get rid of that bad boy. Boom. You are done. Okay. I think we are good now. Okay. Okay. I think we're good now. So, guys, if you see anybody in here that is causing trouble, block them. This naked HD guy with all this bots and all this stuff that's coming through, just block him, guys. Get him out of the chat. That's appropriate. I gave you guys, many of you, to be moderators. Help out and get these guys from out of here. You got bots that are coming on the channel and so forth, messing up my flow, messing up the flow. Let me get back to it. All right, where am I at here? Here we go. 1 second. All right. Look at that. All right, we're back in business now. Okay. I previously worked at Apple and Google and considered myself a tech nerd. I was excited to work at Tesla. It has always been my dream company of mine. Right? This guy says it always have been a dream company of his. And his job was to look for candidates to work on the autopilot self-driving software and on deep learning team. I live in Austin, Texas, and I work remotely. I really love my job and ordered 2 Teslas for myself, which I have since canceled. Worked at Apple. He's worked at Google. He's worked at the top tech companies that exist out there in the United States at a minimum, maybe even the world. He said, you know what? I'm going to move over to Tesla. Goes over to Tesla. Dream job, dream company. Flying on cloud 9. Ordered 2 Teslas. He's making that big money. Making that big money. And his job was to recruit people in the autopilot self-driving software, which you think Tesla needs in order for them to continue to grow. And also on the deep learning team. AIME, right? The artificial intelligence. Now, he ordered those 2 Teslas and he has to cancel them. He has to cancel them. On the last day of April, our company's CEO, Elon Musk, sent an email saying we needed to return to the office. My understanding was that I would be fully remote since my entire job or my entire team was remote. I was transparent with my manager about my intention to work remotely when I was hired, especially since there wouldn't be anyone to collaborate with or support me if I went to the office. And they shared a lot of my concerns. Then we got word that the company was entering a hiring freeze. I was at an autopilot recruiting event in California on June 2nd when I got the email announcing a hiring freeze at Tesla. It was shocking for me. I hadn't been through this situation at any point in my career, but my colleagues reassured me that I shouldn't worry about it and that our team would be fine since autopilot was one of Musk's priorities and personal favorites. You guys have heard about this. You've heard the news articles and so forth about how Tesla wouldn't be much if it didn't have self-driving cars. Matter of fact, that was a statement that Elon Musk said in the last couple of weeks. So why is he laying off people for that team? Why? Probably because he's freezing hiring. And you're no longer needed if he's freezing hiring. If they're freezing hiring, you're a recruiter, you aren't going to be hiring anybody. You aren't going to be hiring anybody. Right? My colleagues reassured me that I shouldn't be worried about it and that our team would be fine since autopilot was one of Musk's priorities and personal favorites. We didn't slow down. We just started recruiting at a higher bar and made sure our exceptional candidates got through. The next very day, we found out about job cuts. It was just back to back. The day after the hiring freeze announcement, we were told the company planned to reduce its salary workforce by 10%. My colleagues were a bit on edge, but still not worried. I was concerned, but I trusted their expertise since they'd been at the company longer than I did. But this was also why I was worried. As a new hire, I didn't have the data or metrics to prove my worth on the team.
Damn!
That's my point, guys. Be careful when you're making the move to other companies, especially during this time. As he said, and this is the whole point of this conversation right now, guys, as the new hire, I didn't have the data or the metrics to prove my worth on the team just yet. So that's what companies do. They look at your value, how much you're bringing to the team, and they say, you know what? All right, we got to make these cuts, 10%. 10%. Somebody who comes in for 2 weeks or a month or 2 months who haven't really made a significant impact, guess what happens?
Damn!
Guess what happens? They're like my man here. They are like my man here who's struggling right now with not having a job. That's what they're like. They're like my man here who's struggling right now who doesn't have a job. That's what it is, guys. That's what it is. As a new hire, I didn't have the data or the metrics to prove my worth on the team just yet. And I'm going to say this something else to this. I'm going to say something else to this. Even as a seasoned veteran or a person who's been around for a very long time, make sure that you have the data or the metrics to prove your worth on your team. If you don't, you may end up like my man's here working for nobody. Working for nobody. Right? And this is the reason why I do what I do. This is the reason why people book me for coaching sessions. You may be afraid. I don't know how to prove my worth for my company. I don't know how to prove my value in my organization. Book a coaching session, www.blkheights.com. I don't know how to gain that visibility. Book a coaching session, www.blkheights.com. I want to get promoted and make more money. I don't know how. Book a coaching session, www.blkheights.com. Right? So let's continue on the article. 2 weeks later, on June 17th, while I was on a call with a candidate, I got a text from my colleague that said someone on their team had been laid off. Shortly after that, I saw an ominous meeting on my calendar. Once a meeting popped up on my calendar that said, meeting Tesla, I knew my time at the company was coming to an end. Guys, if you're in tech and you get that weird meeting, on the calendar, hey, I need to talk to you. Meeting Tesla. You know what? You already know what time it is. You might as well just look down and say this.
Shit. Shit.
I joined the virtual meeting about 45 minutes later, and it was my manager and a member of human resources telling me I would be terminated immediately. They basically read off script. I know it wasn't their fault, but I struggled to maintain my composure and not cry during the meeting. When it ended, I took a couple of minutes and sat in shock, and then I cried.
Damn!
Had this man crying. This man over here angry, hitting his desk, crying, want to hurt somebody. He was crying. He was crying, guys. And there's no humor behind this because this impacts people significantly, and this impacted him significantly. That's why it's important to know who you're working for and to make the right decisions at the right time. Know where the market's going and so forth. Make better decisions. Your finances should be right. You should have a little bit of a nest egg. So if it does happen, you are not significantly impacting your family. That's why you should be watching Pocket Watching with JT. There's so many financial literacy channels on YouTube where they help you to do what's right in the case of something like this happening. It's not if it's happened or if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. It's when, because it's going to impact us one day in our lives that haven't impacted us yet. I've hadn't had it happen to me yet myself, personally. But I'm sure it's going to. I'm sure it's going to one day. What do you think I'm doing the things that I'm doing now to make sure that it doesn't impact me a significant amount? One day I may become a CEO or a GM. That company may be bought out. I'm a CEO. They don't need no 2 CEOs. They don't need it. I may become a senior vice president of sales. Our company gets bought out. They don't need 2 senior vice president of sales for a division. I'm gone. All these things can impact you in your career. That's why it's important to make the right decisions. That's why it's important to make the right decisions. So, as you can see, he was in a bad state. He was in a bad state. He ended up crying, took a couple of minutes, and sat in shock. I called my friends and told them what happened. I walked to my friend's apartment, they made me food, and we came up with something to post on LinkedIn. Within minutes, my company email was inactive. I tried to log back in, my computer within minutes of being laid off, and it said my email was inactive. Had lost access to everything. Though I couldn't email my colleagues, I received messages from them over LinkedIn, and they've been supportive and have helped me to try to find other opportunities. But at the end of the day, this situation still sucks, especially because we're most likely at the beginning of a recession and everything seems to get more expensive as the weeks drag on. I feel for every employee who's been laid off because we're all scrambling for work now. We're all scrambling for work now. I didn't want to start the show off like this, but I thought it'd be a good idea to share that with you guys just in case you're thinking the grass is greener on the other side. You don't have a plan. You just want to go there and take money. You haven't done your research. To give you some feedback, to do your research first. Do your research first. Be serious about who you're going to work for. Talk to people. Look at what they've done before in the past, because the past is somewhat of a telling story about what they will do in the future, especially under the same leadership. Now, we've gone through a significant change when we heard about the company or the world shut down back in 2020. Companies were laying people off and all this other stuff. Then all of a sudden you saw the huge ramp up. Who knows what's going to happen? But there are still companies out there hiring. And there's companies out there slowing their hiring as well. You just make sure if you're going to make a career switch, you do your research and do it for the right reasons. Okay? All right. Let's get back to the fun stuff. Let's get back to the fun stuff, guys. let's get back to the fun stuff. The fun stuff is tech is where it's at, y'all. Big tech firms like Meta and Apple are paying up to $200,000 for data engineers. One of the hottest tech jobs out there, guys. That's what I'm going to talk to you guys about. One of the hottest tech jobs that exist out there today is that of a data engineer. You should consider it if this is your path. If this is your path, or this isn't your path. If you're looking to get into tech, consider that of a role of a data engineer. At the end of the day, we do what we do so that we can make the money that we want to make, so that we can get the things that we want to get or do the things that we want to do. Has nothing to do with your passions or anything like that. Take your feelings out of it. You want to live a certain lifestyle, you go towards the positions that are going to pay you the money and give you the skills that you need so that you can build something for yourself. It's no different than you choosing a trade. It's going to give you a lifelong skills. And if you're choosing a career in tech, it should give you lifelong skills, fundamentals. You can leverage those skills to do whatever you want in your career. Data engineering is the hottest new tech job that's out there, guys. We're going to talk about it because they're getting paid $200,000. Damn! Companies hire data engineers to make sure all data ends up in a usable format. It's one of the highest paying roles in big data, but it requires a more comprehensive skill set. Here's what top tech companies pay for data engineers based on information from 2021. When a person opens nearly any app, they're hit with highly personalized ads or recommendations. But while it seems like magic, those advertisements are actually powered by a complex network of pipes, often precariously taped together. The experience is generated from the thousands of data points, and a company has to describe the user's behavior. And that's all maintained by the plumbers of the data world, data engineers. This is before the billions here. This is before the billions. A data engineer. And the responsibilities of a data engineer can vary widely depending on the role. It entails everything from sales data for retail analysts to information on internal operations, but the end mission is to ensure all a company's incoming data is in the right place and readable. Companies like Snowflake, Databricks, or Amazon couldn't exist without data engineers. And that makes it one of the better paid jobs in tech. When applying for H-1B visa on behalf of foreign workers, companies are required to submit a salary. We already know that, right? Based on the lower end of more than 10,000 visas that they looked at in 2021, the average salary for entry-level data engineers is $117,000. Damn! Guys, I'm gonna tell you like this. The average salary for entry data engineers is $117,000. Damn! Senior level data engineers earn $133,000. Managers earn $158,000, and directors earn $178,000 a year. Damn! Now, what is it that data engineers have to understand? Data engineers generally have to understand programming languages like Java and Python, in addition to the nuts and bolts of the data lakes and data warehouses. That includes knowing their way around the data processing like Spark, Hive, and Hadoop, as well as the data analysis and integration tools like Perfect or Airflow. Guys, I'm gonna tell you like this. To become a data engineer, you probably wanna have a good understanding of data in general, data analysis. A lot of people get into data engineering after they become a data analyst. In my Patreon, I just gave people access, or my Patreon members, access to Google professional certificates in data analysis. 8 courses. This would cost people hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands. My Patreon members have access to it if they're a professional or premium member. This is an entry-level way to get and to become a data engineer. It's a way that you can become a data engineer. Insider compile annual salaries for the roles that contain at least 10 entries, but exact salaries may vary based on the location and so forth. Amazon. Let's talk about Amazon. Amazon's lowest Amazon's pays the lowest for the entry-level roles at $100,000.
Damn!
Hey, I'll tell you this. Based on inflation, $100,000 still is a good amount of money. It's not a lot of money, but it is a good amount of money. You may have to cut back on your stuff. You know, you driving back and forth, but it's still a good amount of money. And entry level at that. Data engineer 1, $100,000. Data engineer 2, $131,000. Just imagine coming out of college making $100,000 right away. This may be the path that I would take if I was coming out of college at this point in time, looking at this number or at these numbers. Data engineer 1, $100,000. Walmart. Let's talk about Walmart. Walmart pays $112,000 for entry-level data engineers. Senior data engineers, $136,000. PayPal, they pay $128,000 for data engineers. Senior, $153,000. Visa, they pay $131,000 for data engineers. Blocks, also used to be, what's the name of the company? Square. They pay $134,000 a year for data engineers. These are entry-level salaries for people coming out of school. DoorDash, $174,000. Now, this is more of a senior role, but data engineering coming out of school, $134,000 for DoorDash. That's a lot of money, guys. Cisco, $137,000. Non-senior data engineers make $150,000 a year at Apple. When you're thinking about your career and you're thinking about your change in tech, again, think about where is it that you want to go. Think about what kind of money it is that you want to make. Don't just say, I want to get into tech and get into, potentially IT support. If you want to get into IT support, that is fantastic. No, that's your entryway to someplace else. I love IT support. It's a fantastic career, and you can make a good career out of it. But if that's your long-term game, you need to shoot for something higher. Shoot for something higher. There's steps that you need to take along the way. There's journeys that you need to take along the way to make a certain amount of money. And as I coach individuals in the tech space, I often have to remind them how much money they want to make 5 years, 10 years down the line. What is the vision of the lifestyle that they want to have? Are they going to have kids? Do they want to have a boat? Do they want to have a house? Do they want to have rental properties? All that stuff costs money, especially now. So look for the tech careers that are going to pay you a lot of money, and data engineering is one of them. Data engineering is one of them. All right, guys, I'm done with this topic on data engineering. All right, let's jump over to another topic. We're going to talk about, let me flip over here real quick. We're going to talk about another topic. Look at that. My resources are down now. That is absolutely perfect. I wonder what's going on with that. But anyway, absolutely love that. And I'm wondering if something else is running in the background. But who knows? We're back to it now. Now we're going to talk about the highest paying programming languages that you should know. Okay, if you're thinking about becoming a programmer, if you're thinking about becoming a web developer and so forth, these are some of the programming languages that you should learn and gain skills in so that you have skills to make money in your career, so that you have an ability to stay employed, so that you have skills to potentially do a side hustle, which is something that we're going to be talking about later on in this stream. These are the 14 programming languages that I want for you guys to remember that are paying salaries of $155,000. Okay? Salaries of $155,000. And the reason why I'm bringing these articles to you guys is this. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but we should certainly think about the decisions that we're making. There will be no more excuses for people who choose to go to college for useless degrees and then get out and say college was a scam. No more excuses for that anymore. We know what colleges or what majors are worth it. If they're even is a need to go to college. College right now, the enrollment is down. Why is it down? Because of alternative education. Now we have so many companies that are coming up that are helping people to get into the tech space without a 4-year degree. Without a 4-year degree. Alternative education is the next big space that we're in because colleges are no longer providing the value that they once did. A college degree is now a commodity. At one point in time, early on in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, everybody didn't have them. And when you had a college degree, it didn't matter what major it was, you probably were going to be doing pretty well for yourself, but that's no longer the case. Now, you don't need to be going to college for psychology, art, fashion design. There's no reason to go to college for that sort of stuff. Because all you're going to do is end up leaving college with a whole bunch of debt without having the ability to pay it off. And you're not going to have any skills at all. No longer is there an excuse for going to college getting a worthless degree. If you're going to go to college, choose something that's going to pay you well. If you're going to change into tech and make a career transition, choose a profession that's going to pay you well. Let's jump over to the 14 programming languages. 14 programming languages like Swift, Scala, that could land you $155,000 or more according to the survey of 73,000 developers. Stack Overflow surveys 73,000 developers on how much they make in programming languages they use. The website discovered which programming languages are associated with the highest paying salaries. An insider compiled a list of the top paying languages, including Clojure, Exceler, and Scala. Some of these, I don't even know what they are. So this is all new to me as well too, which is the reason why I'm bringing this to you all. So you guys can just look through it and figure it out. It's exposure, guys. While many tech companies are cutting costs to manage market downturn, others are still hiring for engineering roles. And they're paying top dollar for certain programming skills. Stack Overflow and QA site for developers with 50 million monthly visitors surveyed 73,000 developers for its annual reports. And the survey asked what programming languages they used, their salaries, and more. And each year, Stack Overflow conducts its annual developer survey to get a better understanding of what tools, software, and the programs developers are using. From this data, they've gathered a whole list of different programming languages that are being used. And last year, the programming language Scala and Java-based Clojure topped the list of the highest paying languages. This year, Scala and Clojure still top the charts, earning developers $182,000 and $175,000 respectively. So let's talk about these languages. Swift is one of them. What is Swift? Well, Swift is the main programming language used to build Apple apps. And because of this, the language is a must-know for many mobile developers. So guys, if you want to get into development, consider learning Swift. Why? Swift programmers make a median U.S. salary of $155,000. I hit the damn button too fast. I hit the damn button too fast. Hit it again. Damn! $155,000, guys. Swift developer. If you want to get into programming, consider Swift. Groovy is another one. And I love this article or this picture right here. It looks like she's actually grooving. Groovy acts as support for Java, a popular programming language used in web development. And Groovy takes anything that uses Java, like computer systems and desktop applications, and simplifies the code. That makes software faster to build because there are fewer moving parts to work with. And Groovy developers make a median salary of $160,000. Damn! Ruby is another one. Companies like Shopify, Groupon, GitHub use open source language Ruby to build web applications. I must say this. So back in 2014, I took Ruby on Rails, under Coding Academy, a boot camp. It was 12 weeks, and I actually liked the programming language. It was relatively easy, and it still is around today. And if you were going to learn Ruby, you can be getting paid $160,000 a year. Rust is another one. And it's spelled just like a rusty bike chain. Mozilla developed Rust as a fast, reliable programming language. It doesn't use a lot of computers' memory and prevents bugs. And Rust developers in the US earn an average of $160,000, guys. Lisp is another one, Lisp, and it stands for Lisp processing. It's another one. And those developers earn $160,000 or $130,000, guys. Kotlin is another one. And Kotlin is the main programming language used to build Android apps. So if you're thinking about Android and you're not a fan of Apple, so Swift is for Apple, Kotlin is for Android apps. And the median salary for somebody learning Kotlin or being an Android developer is $163,000. Damn! Haskell is another one. Haskell is a general purpose language, which means that it underlines a lot of software, like desktop applications, system processing, and so forth. But if you learn Haskell, you can make $165,000 a year, guys. Objective-C is another one. This is C. That's exactly what it is. Old-time language, been around for a very long time. A general purpose language used on top of C, another language that is mostly used to build desktop applications, mostly used in developing iOS or Mac OS operating systems. Developers who know Objective-C make a median US salary of $167,000. Elixir, I don't know how to pronounce that. Elixir. Help me pronounce that, somebody. But anyway, this is a language that was developed in 2012 by former Ruby contributor Jose Valem, and is a programming language built on top of Erlang. Erlang is used as a communicator between system processes. And if you learn this language, you could be making $170,000. Erlang, you could be making $170,000. Okami, another one, you could be making $173,000. Clojure is a Java-based language, right? That you can be making $175,000. And typically, this language is used in commercial AI software development. Go is another one. Go is Google's developed open source language. And if you know Go, you can be making $175,000. Scala, $182,000, guys. So again, yes, programming may not be everybody's snick. Absolutely, I get it. I get it. Programming may not be your stick. I get it. I get it. You don't have to get into tech and become a programmer. There's other ways that you can get into tech without becoming a programmer. But if you want a strong foundation, especially if you're coming out of school, consider doing some sort of programming. You can build a strong technical foundation that's going to last you for the rest of your life, and you can stack on top of it. I had a conversation the other day with a gentleman who was asking me about my career and so forth. It was a coaching call, and he's like, Antoine, you're in sales now, you're killing it, you're crushing it. I said, absolutely. He says, I want to get into sales as well too, so I gave him some advice, some Antoine Wade coaching advice, and I just said, you're a young guy. You're 22 years old, you're out of college. Build a foundation before you get into sales. But I totally understand if you choose to go into sales right away, because if you choose to go into sales and you bet on yourself, you become a good sales person, a good sales professional. You can make more money in a shorter amount of time than you would have ever with a strong foundation as a software engineer. This is what it is. So guys, if you're considering sales, I got something for you. Choose Course Careers. Course Careers is a boot camp, a sales boot camp, a sales training that's only $500. If you use my discount code, you can get it for $450. And this boot camp has allowed for people to get into tech and tech sales specifically with or without a degree. So if you're on the fence about some things about tech and sales, consider Course Careers. Spend the $500 or the $450 if you use my discount code to get an entry into sales, into tech sales. I partner with Course Careers because of the fact that they're helping people get into tech sales. And they're helping people do it in such a short amount of time. I'm going to have a gentleman by the name of Abdul on my channel in the upcoming weeks. Abdul got out of high school, didn't go to college, didn't know what he wanted to do, did some odds and end jobs, working in a warehouse and so forth. Abdul found Course Careers. Within 4 months, he was making $75,000. Within 4 months, he was making $75,000. Course Careers is where it's at. I will have Abdul on to share his story in a couple weeks. But if you're interested in getting into tech sales, check it out. The link is in the description of this video. And you can use the Antoine's 50 code to get your $50 off of the course. So it drops it from $500 to $450. Tech sales changed my life. And I think it's a space in a career that can certainly change yours, because there was nothing that was special about me when I got into tech sales, besides that I had a strong foundation and I don't give up. That's it. And within 3 years, it changed my life completely. Tech sales is where it's at, guys. Consider Course Careers. All right, let's jump over to another topic that I wanted to hit on. I wanted to talk about Salesforce, guys, because again, we're talking about salaries and so forth, and Salesforce pays their people really good money. They pay their people really good money. Salesforce Salaries revealed. Let's see how much Salesforce is paying their people, even during a time where people are getting laid off, guys. Let's find out how much they're paying people at Salesforce. This is a company that you want to consider working for, okay? I'm just going to jump all the way down. Software engineers and developers. We just talked about software engineers and developers. But software engineers and developers are paid $120,000, guys, to $215,000. $120 to $215,000. Software engineer architects, $287 to $325,000. Principal software engineers, $250 to $275,000.
Damn!
Engineering and software development managers, right? You become a manager in this space. Senior director, you can make $330,000 a year.
Damn!
Director of engineering, $285,000. When you're making $285,000, $330,000 a year, you're definitely worried about the recession and so forth. Of course. But your money, you're not making the life changes as somebody who's making about $30,000 or $40,000, $50,000, right? So you can go and fill up and go and see your mom twice a week, and you're like, oh man, like gas is super expensive now, mom, and maybe I'm going to visit you one time a week versus not going at all, right? Or if you go 3 times a week and you got to fill up because it's a good little drive, you may not make any changes at all because you're making a good amount of money. But if you're making $50,000, $40,000, with inflation being the way it is, you're being impacted a significant amount. And don't think that you shouldn't be reducing the things that you do. You're no longer taking those trips, air prices or airline prices, fuel costs, all that is expensive. We look to go home this summer. I'm like, babe, you know what? It's going to cost us $2,000 to go home. I'm like, shit, we're going to stay here and just chill out and go on a boat, stay in Texas for the rest of the summer. That's what we're going to do. We can take the trip, but we have other trips planned. Now, we're not stopping the flow of things. We're just saying we're going to be selective on what trips that we go on, as any responsible person would do it who makes a good amount of money. But that's the whole point, guys. You want to make a good amount of money so you can make responsible decisions. If you're not making a lot of money, you don't have a lot of skills, and inflation hits, you're squeezed. You're squeezed. You're making irrational decisions. You're like, okay, well, all I have is $100. I need to try to turn this into $2,000. Then you're making dumb decisions and trying to invest with people that you shouldn't be invested with. Doing things to make quick money. That's not where I want you guys to be. So when you're thinking about tech in general, again, think about the roles that are going to pay you well for the lifestyle that you want to have. Software engineering is good. Management is good. Security and reliability engineering, it's good. Site reliability engineers, 153 to 195. Performance software engineer, 165 to 200,000. Network security architect, 300,000. This is the cybersecurity space, guys. A lot of money. Platform development and data science. Salesforce developer, $140,000, guys.
Damn!
Tableau business intelligence developer, 180. Salesforce platform developer, 160. Senior data scientist. Ooh, big time money. This is AI me here. 190,000.
Damn!
Director of data science, 275,000.
Damn!
Just imagine you're making 275,000 and your wife was, in the workforce as well, and she has some fantastic career, lawyer or engineer or whatever else, entrepreneur, and she makes 275,000. You guys are in Greece, where everybody's talking about slowing down. You're in Greece. You're doing the good stuff. You're living a good life. You're living a good life. You're still investing into properties and buying houses when people say, you know what? You probably should slow down. There are people who are still buying properties these days. Why? Because they can afford it. They have the cash to be able to do so. They're taking advantage of this time. There are winners when there's a recession, and there's a lot of losers. You want to be on the winning side, and tech can certainly help you get on the winning side if you do what's right with your money. Architects and consultants, 140,000 to 173,000. A technical architect, 150 to 225. Product management, right? A strategic account partner, which is a VP at Salesforce, makes $320,000.
Damn!
Okay. These tech roles are paying a lot. Sales and marketing, they're in the six figures as well. Consider tech, consider tech, consider tech. We're going to wrap up on one more thing, guys. We're going to wrap up on one more topic that I want to touch on. And again, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place today, guys. I'm all over the place. But I wanted to bring this to you because it's important. Because it's important. Last topic we're going to talk about is side hustles. And the reason why I want to talk about side hustles is this. Of course, making more money is what most people want to do when they don't have a lot or aren't being paid the amount of money that they think they should get, or they aren't worth the amount of money, or they aren't able to. Let's just put it like this. Let me reframe my words. Making more money is a way that you can make a better living for yourself, no matter what situation you're in. You could be making a whole bunch of money. You could be making a little bit of money. Either way, side hustles have become the new thing that people always start talking about, right? And you could be coming out of college and you may be getting some advice to start a side hustle. Well, that's really good advice. That's really good advice because I do think that side hustles are good, but only for people who have skills. And if you look at this article that I'm going to share with you about side hustles, you're going to learn that the majority of these side hustles are started from people who have skills. So don't think you're going to get out of school with no professional experience or no skills and start a side hustle. And if somebody tells you that you should be starting a side hustle directly out of school, they have no idea what they're talking about. If you look at this article right here that I'm going to share with you, because everybody's talking about it. Now may be a good time to invest in a side hustle, they say. Side hustles became more popular during the pandemic as people sought new hobbies during lockdowns or extra income. Absolutely. People are going to be looking for extra income during this recession. In fact, 33% of small business owners who use Gusto said they needed side hustles to keep their business afloat. I understand that. But let's jump down to the article even further. Here are 16 side hustles that you can try now and how you can build them efficiently. This is the thing that this article doesn't tell you. This article doesn't tell you that you need skills in order for you to be able to make money. The article doesn't tell you that you need money in order for you to make money. If you have skills in copywriting, remember the word is skills. Copywriting, graphic design, or software automation, you can become a freelancer on Upwork. Courtney Allen earned more than 1.3 million using the platform. Okay? She's made over 1.3 million using the platform Upwork. And 1.3 million is a lot of money. Let's shout out to her. But the point of this is that she has skills. Skills. Let's look at another one. If you're a graphic designer, if you're going to become a graphic designer, you have to have skills. You have to have some years in the business. You can make a living designing logos. She makes $100,000 a year, or in 10 months, she made $100,000. Let's look at another one. If you're a good writer, there's a path to make a sustainable living as a ghostwriter. Anastasia earned $80,000 in a year. Right? If you have an online presence, you can become an influencer, but you got to start a YouTube channel or TikTok or Instagram. And you have to look halfway decent and halfway have a good work ethic, because you got to consistently do it over and over again. Skills. If you're going to be a shoe seller or reseller, you can do that without skills. No, you can't, because you're going to need to have sales skills, technology skills to use platforms and so forth. This gentleman, Ethan Moose, dropped out of college, but he made $225,000 last year reselling sneakers, buying and flipping. Skills. If you're a consultant, right? You can give companies business advice. Maya made $250,000 in a year because she had the skills as a consultant. Again, guys, side hustles are great. I really think that they are absolutely fantastic, and I want you to have a side hustle, especially if you have skills. Start one. But don't think you're going to start a side hustle before you have skills. And don't think you're going to have a side hustle before you know or have any tools to be able to help other people with. That's why it's so important for you to get professional experience. That's why I talk about gaining your experience, whether it's in corporate America or so forth. People are always like, I want to work for myself. Don't listen to those people. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Most of them are broke. They're broke. They are broke. Follow it from somebody who's telling you the absolute truth, and there's no shortcuts in this game. Develop skills, work for a company 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, and so forth. Then leverage those skills that you've gained and go out there and create yourself a side hustle from it. It doesn't have to be 10 years. It can be 3. It can be 2. But you have to focus on gaining those skills and learning those skills first. You have to. That's all I wanted to leave you with, guys, today. That's all I wanted to leave you with today, guys. Let's jump over here to the chats. I know I've been chatting it up the entire time without getting some feedback from you guys. Brother Master IT. Brother Master IT says, man, imagine if we could tap into the IT pros when we were coming into tech space. Keep doing what you're doing, Ladderclums. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, Brother Master IT. Thank you so much, Brother Rob. Go ahead and check him out. I just recommended Manning. Contact Brother Master IT. Check him out. Another partner of mine who gets people into IT. IT Master Key. Link in the description of this video. If you guys want to get into IT, get your Security Plus, your A Plus, and so forth, there's nobody better than Master IT. Check him out. IT Master Key, link in the description. He will get you guys certified, get you recession-proof in the tech space. Check him out. We have our brother from South Korea. Keep up the good work. I'm going to book a session. Absolutely. Says going to the right boot camp to learn these skills will be a good investment. I appreciate the super chat. The $20 and a $5 super chat, my man. I appreciate it, sir. Kev, the software tester. Kev, QA. Fantastic. Another brother of ours who's in QA, working for a big time company. Thank you so much for the $9 super chat. Even though iOS apps are increasingly being built with Swift, if you know Objective-C and Swift, you'll be ahead of the game. Also, you can use programming languages to be a software tester. Absolutely. Absolutely, Kevin. Fantastic advice there. Ashton James in the house. I'm seriously considering the Course Careers Bootcamp you have been talking about. Can you drop the link? Absolutely, Miss Wade. Drop that link. Oh, looks like she already did. You're ahead of me, Miss Wade. You're fantastic. You're absolutely fantastic. I'm all over the place. My brain is all. I need to go work out. That's what I need to do. I need to leave here and go and get a workout in so I can have some clarity. Some clarity. I've been working hard over the last couple of days, guys. Let me see if I have anything else in here that I need to respond to. Christian is in the house. Christian's in the house. Get even Black Ops family tapping from work while playing with a customer database. Christian getting that work in, my man. Engineering cannabis. Elon Musk laid off HR workers in non-highly technical roles, but automation engineers and data scientists and big data are indispensable. Absolutely. Absolutely, engineering cannabis. You're absolutely right. Christian Emerson, I took care of that, coach. Thanks knowing Christian. I was diving with the kiddos. Absolutely. Taylor Simmons says, poor guy. Black Dove, juggling 2 jobs is starting to look like a good option now. Hey, that might be right for you. That might be right. Casual comments in the house. Dang, I'm late to the live show. We're here. Cryptology is in the house. Simon, reach out. Send me a text, my man. Send me a text. Send me a text. We need to connect, my man. Black Dove 21. I'm a little bit surprised with this list. Darn, no Python or SQL. Those are fantastic coding languages, guys. So you got to remember, this was done by people, and you got to think about some of these languages are old. Objective-C has been out there for a while, C and so forth. Some of these languages are in high demand because there are not that many people that know them as well. So Python is a fantastic language to learn. SQL is another one. You have to know SQL in order for you to be in a data analyst or a database administrator and so forth. So these are fantastic coding or programming languages that you should learn as well too, Jamali. So don't think that because it wasn't on a list that it was not recommended. What the list also, what the list was trying to say were these were the highest paying. And that's $155,000. You can become a Python or you can be a Python programmer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be making $155,000 or more. Fantastic language. Fantastic language. SQL as well too, right? Anyway, Quilly says, Antoine, any advice on working 2 corporate jobs at once? That's becoming a thing now for those that are working from home 100%. I just say this, Quilly05, working 2 corporate jobs at once, make sure that you aren't breaking ethical codes. That's number one. Make sure you aren't breaking ethical codes. I say if you're not and you can handle it, because it's very difficult for you to have one job and be very successful and gain skills, putting 110% into that. There's always distractions and so forth. So working 2, what is your purpose? Is your purpose to pay off bills and you're doing it for a short amount of time? Or are you really gaining skills and so forth, leveraging the stuff that you're learning from one company and bringing it to the next and so forth, right? I say this, if it's not breaking any ethical standards or compliance or any of that stuff, you can do it. But how much are you going to be able to do, or how long are you going to be able to do it? What's the goal? I will not have 2 corporate America jobs. I just can't do it. I don't have that time in the day to be able to do so. I can't focus that much in the first place. I can't have, multiple things going on at once, especially being a father, a husband and wife, or, having a wife and so forth, and having a company and owning real estate. I can't do that. But if it's a short-term thing, why not? If it's going to accomplish the goals that you have in front of you, maybe that's to pay off, debt, or to get your first rental property and get you rolling, why not? But what I try to encourage you to do is focus on the job at hand, focus on your career. That's why I've come out with a couple of videos on just getting serious, because far too many times I'm speaking to the younger generation and they are just, you know, the next flashy object that pops up or the next flashy thing online pops up, they have to run towards it and they're not making any progress. But yet they feel like they should be making millions of dollars a year. So what I try to encourage people, Coolio 5, is to make a decision, commit to something first, and just focus on gaining the skills and being so good at what you do. And that should be your focus. If you become so good at what you do, you're going to be able to leverage that for your career. Not only that, you're going to be able to leverage that for a side hustle as well too. So that's what I recommend. But if you need to work 2 corporate jobs, do it. I asked the question, why? Why? If you have a reason for it, I'm all good with it. I'm all good with it. Maxwell's in the house. He says, thank you for this, Antoine. Being a patron is easy, the best choice I've made, mindset and community. Absolutely. Jamali says, definitely working on some Coursera courses to learn data analytics tools right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Maxwell's in the house. Maxwell's a fantastic gentleman. He's getting ready to start his sales career pretty soon. We just got his resume up to date. His master resume. We're going to have to do create a sales resume for him. But Maxwell's a fantastic gentleman who's been in the IT space for a very long time doing some fantastic things. And we're helping him get to that next stage in his career to continue to make that money for himself. So guys, but that's all I wanted to leave you guys with today. I know it was a little bit of a longer show than usual. Hopefully I didn't bounce around too much. It is a midweek show. That's why I kind of limit those midweek shows, because a lot of the times it's a lot going on during the week and so forth. There's so much going on. And I find myself not having the energy to do it. So, you know, my Saturday mornings is my prime time. I will come to you this Saturday morning from the office. I won't be on a boat because I think we're going to either do the boat tomorrow or Sunday or Monday. So I will be in the office on Saturday. I'll have a good show prepared for you guys. And I want to say this, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. The Black Heights community is continuing to grow. Our Patreon are filled with some lovely people. Christian, Ashton, you know, Simon from Tech Critology. I got to even say the name right. I can't even think right now. From Cryptechology, that's what I mean. And then Jamarly and so forth, right? Kevin, fantastic people. Join the Patreon, become part of the community, help us push each other to the next level. If you need coaching, book a coaching session, www.blokheights.com. The community is growing. It's full of wonderful people and so forth. Great investment for yourself. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. And you know how we do it. Until next time, y'all. Peace.